Maya's pricing announcement came back this morning, and Priya from compliance put it down with one question: who verified this before it goes out? Maya wants to say, I read it twice and I caught two bad numbers myself last week. And out loud, that answer sounds exactly as thin as it is. Spotting problems when you happen to see them is a skill, and nobody can sign their name under a skill. So, this episode builds the process, a one-page validation routine Maya can run every time and hand to Priya with a straight face. We are still inside the heaviest domain on the exam: output evaluation and validation, about a fifth of your whole score. Part 1 of this domain was learning to see the problems. This part is what you do about them, in what order, and when the answer is not yours to give. The whole routine is built from moves you already know from episode 1: verify, escalate, and match. Maya starts the rebuild by changing where facts are allowed to come from. She attaches the pricing policy and the service terms and tells Claude to use only these documents, not its general knowledge. That one instruction is an official Anthropic technique, and it turns an open-ended essay into a closed book exam. Then she adds the strangest sounding line in the playbook: if you do not have enough information, say I don't know. Anthropic's docs are blunt about this one: permission to admit uncertainty drastically reduces false information. Without that permission, the model fills every gap with its best guess, because you ask for an answer and it aims to please. Two answers come back as I don't know, and that is the routine working. Those two were the guesses. The gaps are now questions Maya can take to a human who knows, instead of fiction she would have shipped. Next rule: every claim in the draft has to carry a receipt. She asks Claude to attach a word-for-word supporting quote from the documents to every factual claim it makes. One claim about renewal discounts cannot find its quote, and the rule is merciless: no quote, no claim, it comes out. This is straight from Anthropic's own documentation. Their example is a press release where every unsupported line gets pulled. Then the step no shortcut survives. Maya opens the pricing policy herself and reads each quote sitting in its source. A quote counts as verified only after a human has seen it in place, because fabricated citations look exactly like real ones. One effective date still feels wobbly, so she asks the same question again in a fresh chat and compares the two runs. Two different dates means the fact is unverified, and the fix is the policy document, not a third run. Hold the hierarchy, everything inside the tool reduces errors, and the final check for anything that matters lies outside the model. Right on cue, Dan arrives with a vendor's master services agreement north of 100 pages, asking what the penalties are if we exit early. This is an exam question almost word for word. An analyst needs Claude to assess penalty and termination clauses across a long contract, and which approach does Anthropic's guidance most directly support? Option A: tell Claude to be extremely careful and professional because the document is important. Tone instructions do not ground a single claim in the text. Careful is a mood, not a method. Struck. Option C: break the work into many small chats so each response stays short. The risk here is fabricated clause content, not long responses, and 20 short chats can fabricate 20 times. Struck. Option D: get the full analysis, then have Claude rate its confidence in each finding. Self-rated confidence is generated text with the same failure modes as the answer it grades. Struck. That leaves option B: have Claude first extract word for word codes of the relevant clauses, then base the analysis only on those codes. Quotes first, analysis second. The grounding technique built exactly for long documents. Stamp it verify, and notice Maya learned nothing new to answer it. The routine she just built answered an exam question by itself. One customer question in the FAQ asks whether the new plan changes how invoices are taxed, and Claude has drafted a confident little paragraph about tax treatment. Every technique so far still applies here, and none of them is enough, because this answer is no longer Maya's call to make. Anthropic's usage policy draws a hard line in high-risk domains. A qualified professional must review the content before it reaches anyone. Note the verb must. This is not a best practice you weigh against a deadline, it is a requirement. The domains on that list read like the places where mistakes do not bounce: legal interpretation, medical advice, insurance decisions, lending and investment calls, hiring, housing admissions, and published media. That list is a snapshot of a version policy, so read the current version before exam day. The structure is what lasts. Tax treatment on a customer invoice is a financial question, so Maya routes that one answer to Priya's team: review before publication, not after. The same policy tier adds a second duty. The customer must be told that AI helped produce the advice they are getting. And the trap version of this rule, having Claude review its own draft, is not the review the policy means. The reviewer is a human who could have written the answer. Stamp it, escalate, and hear it the way the exam means it. Knowing something is not your call is a passing answer, not a failing one. With the facts verified and the tax answer routed, Maya still owes two different rooms the same news. Executives need the short version plus the decision they are being asked to make. Customers need plain words about what changes for them and when. The move is to tell Claude who each output is for and what that reader has to do with it. Audience and purpose stated out loud. Today's product implementation even ships presets for this, styles that shift tone and detail level, but the durable skill is naming the audience, whatever the menu looks like this quarter. Then the trap that catches careful people: a rewrite is a new output. Make this friendlier can soften a warning or quietly drop a caveat, so the customer version gets the same code check the original did. And refine the draft you have instead of regenerating from scratch. The corrections you fought for live in that conversation. That is the first half of match, same verified facts, refit to the reader. Last decision on the page: what shape each deliverable takes, and the rule is that format follows what happens to the output next. A quick answer somebody reads once belongs inline right there in the conversation. A document people will keep editing and reusing belongs in an artifact. And the official bar is content that is substantial, more than a dozen lines, and stands on its own without the chat around it. Maya's customer FAQ is exactly that: a living document the team will revise all quarter, so it leaves as an artifact with its version history. The plan by plan price changes are headed into the billing tracker, so she asks for them as a fixed column table, structured data for a handoff. The source documents themselves live in the project's knowledge base, so every future chat starts grounded in the same two files. Choose by destiny: discussed once means inline, maintained means artifact, imported means structured. Second half of match: fit the container to where the work is going. Here is Maya's whole answer to Priya. One page. Ground it. Sources attached. General knowledge of. I don't know allowed. Receipt it. Every claim carries a supporting quote. No quote, no claim. Check it. Open the source yourself and let disagreement between runs demote any fact back to unverified. Escalate it. Anything touching the high-risk list gets a qualified human before anyone outside sees it, with the AI's role disclosed. Refit and fit. Name the audience for every version, then match the format to what happens next. Now watch what the page does. It stamps itself: verify, escalate, match. The routine is the answer pattern wearing work clothes. So the playbook: ground, receipt, check, escalate, refit, fit, and the page signs itself with 3 of the 4 moves. One last exam question at speed. An HR team wants Claude to draft individualized answers to employees' severance eligibility questions and send them automatically to save review time. Option A says nothing extra is needed because it is all internal, but the policy trigger is impact on a person, not which side of the firewall they sit on, struck. Option B adds a disclaimer that AI may make mistakes, and a footer is neither the required review nor honest disclosure, struck. Option D upgrades to the most capable model so review can be skipped and no model tier buys you out of a policy requirement, struck. Option C, a qualified professional reviews every response before it reaches the employee and the AI assistance is disclosed. Escalate severance eligibility is employment advice about one specific person, and the human comes before the send button. Back at Maya's desk, Priya reads the one-page routine, initials the corner, and the question that opened this episode finally has an answer with names in it. Next episode, Dan asks why the deep analysis is suddenly slow and expensive, and Maya learns which brain to rent for which job.